And I'm Michael Miller. Today, James Richard with the Solid Waste Department is here. And today, we are going to talk about hurricanes and what solid waste does to help us through that season.
Absolutely.
So tell us, what are some of the things that the department is doing now in preparation of the storms?
Well, as everybody knows, hurricane season is a bit of a stressful season. But for us, we have a lot of responsibility when it comes to storm preparations, and then also more than ever, recovery. So in order to get ready for the storm season, our department, number one, secures contracts with contracted haulers. That's one of the most important things we do well in advance of storm season because, although we have a large department, if a storm impacts Miami-Dade County and we have to respond, our trucks won't cut it. We need assistance. And so we kind of secure those contracts ahead of time so that we can put them into action if a storm impacts the area. We also identify what we call staging sites, and these are kind of midway locations. I think in previous conversations we've talked about transfer stations. So instead of a truck that's collecting debris from a roadway having to go to a landfill or a final disposal site, they could stop at one of these staging sites, offload their materials, and go back and continue the removal on the street. So it's a lot of preparations. We want to be ready in the event that a storm does make impact. We obviously hope that it doesn't. But we just want to be as prepared as possible so that if that is the case, we're able to act as soon as the all clear is given.
So these contracts that you get from providers, they come from all over the state?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, even when we were talking about, Hurricane Irma, so that was the last really large storm that impacted our area. We were kind of, jockeying for resources from Texas because Hurricane Harvey had impacted the Houston area. You had companies that were coming from Texas all the way down here to assist with removal here in South Florida. And so it's not only within the state, you're talking about, resources with other, municipalities throughout the country if there are other sort of storm responses taking place.
So just so people can get it clear, if they have this big pile of garbage, trash, trees out in front, the county can pick them up, and then also vendors that the county has hired
Absolutely.
to take them to some staging sites,
Right,
where
exactly.
Eventually they'll wind up in their final resting place.
Exactly. The staging sites are just temporary. They're only for the response. Actually, the material that's brought there is shredded so that the volume is reduced, and they're put on long haul trailers, and all hurricane and storm debris is trucked out of Miami-Dade County. It doesn't stay here in the county. So we have contracted vendors that we use for hurricane response along with our own trucks, obviously. And that is hopefully, a way that we can, remediate whatever debris might be at the curb as quickly as possible.
So we know a lot of folks that live here in Miami haven't really been impacted in a big way and don't understand when the trees go down, what a challenge it certainly is. There are a lot of us here that were through Hurricane Andrew, and certainly the neighborhoods were destroyed, put aside the houses and everything, but the orientation as far as the neighborhood were gone when all those trees were decimated and just gone. So what is it as consumers, as property owners or apartment dwellers that we should do now in preparation of our hurricane season?
Well, we always advise our customers to go ahead and schedule their bulky waste pickup appointments before storm season. I know June 5th today, so we're 5 days in to hurricane season, but as soon as possible, conduct your tree trimming, maintain your yard. If you have any hedges or any, any large, bulk items in your yard, take the time to schedule that bulky waste pickup appointment and have it removed from your property so that you're not scrambling if a storm is, kind of bearing down on the state. We usually see a really large influx of bulky waste pickup appointments really twice during the year. Once at the end of the year, as those 2 pickups you get every year are set to expire, and then also as a storm is approaching, a lot of people are kind of they're scrambling to try to get someone to come up and pick up the material that they're trying to leave at the curb. And so we really want people to take advantage of the time they have now, the weather that we have now, and go ahead and schedule those appointments. Trim your trees, have it removed, taken care of, so you're not worried about trees falling if a storm is impacting.
And the reality, as far as pricing, the landscapers, as they get busier, they're going to keep charging more and more and more.
Sure.
But now's the time to look at those big trees and say, okay, I'm going to cut these. We learned our lesson. We had 7 big trees lined up. Every one of them missed the house.
Yeah.
And we were lucky.
And that's the thing, you don't want to put it up to chance. You want to take the 2 pickups that you have available as a customer, utilize those 2 pickups and have those materials picked up, or take it to a trash and recycling center that are open 7 days a week.
So there's no extra charge for 2 bulky waste pickups a year.
That's
They
right.
could do it on December 20th and January 1st,
Right.
2nd if they wanted to. But this is a really good time. Call your landscaper, get those trees done, and while you're at it, look in your garage and see if there's some stuff that you need to throw out.
Yeah.
Let's say they're doing the annual cleanup and they go in and they go, look, I got this old gas, old oil, all this old stuff. What should they do?
Well, if you have old gas, old oil, old paint, any sort of household chemicals, you want to take it to a home chemical collection center. But if you have those, the old furniture, you have lawn furniture, kids' toys, an old jungle gym in the back of your yard, you could always set that out for a bulky waste pickup. You could also take it to a trash and recycling center. All of our full service customers are allotted 2 bulky waste pickups of up to 25 cubic yards each every calendar year. You always want to call ahead and schedule that appointment before you call your landscaper or you make those arrangements to place those items at the curb, just so you could secure your spot and know what day we're going to be there to remove it. Then you could call your landscaper and say, they're going to be here on this day. I want you to come a day before, cut the trees, leave it at the curb, and they'll take it away.
And so we certainly don't want people to take their garbage and put it out there, and then the storm comes, all right, because everybody got too busy to do that, because stuff's going to blow all over in the neighborhood and can really hurt somebody.
No, absolutely. And we've, in our experience, even if a tropical storm is coming, we get calls from people saying, oh, my neighbor across the street has a pile in front of their house. Can you do something? With our new appointment system, previously we had people calling, a day before a storm is scheduled to make landfall, trying to schedule a bulky waste pickup. At a certain point, we stopped accepting orders for bulky waste pickups. Our appointment system kind of, takes care of it itself, where we usually are about a week out from, an available appointment date. So if we're 2 or 3 days away from a storm making landfall, someone tries to schedule an appointment, they'll probably only have availability after the storm is scheduled to make landfall. So you don't want to be in that situation where you're scrambling to try to find someone to remove material, in front of your property, or you're worried about somebody across the street. Take the time now, schedule a bulky waste pickup appointment, have, the foresight to go ahead and take care of those issues now. So again, you're not in a precarious situation if the storm's coming.
And Andres, could you run the web address for the solid waste department across the bottom? And how can people call in or set their appointment?
Yeah, so you could schedule an appointment, a number of ways. The first is to call 311. Our call takers are able to schedule an appointment over the phone. They'll give you an option for which day you want to select. And again, it's similar to scheduling a medical appointment or a car service appointment at your dealership. There are availabilities, a number of windows, and once they're filled up, that day is done, they move on to the next one. You could also schedule an appointment online. You go to miamidade.gov/solid waste, and there's an icon there for bulky waste pickups. You click there, and it will take you to the interface where you could schedule an appointment. And then we also have our MDC Solid Waste smartphone app. It's available through the iTunes and Google Play stores, and you could download that app and schedule an appointment that way.
When I was fortunate enough to be able to how to figure it out, and after I did it the first time ago, this is really simple.
Yeah.
They show a house and they go, okay, where's it going? Where are you going to put it?
Right.
So when your guys go out, they go, okay, it's on the right side, it's on the east side, it's the west side, it's in the center. And typically, what's the time frame from the time the appointment's set until somebody's there?
So basically, there's not like a scheduled time during the day you select. It's basically the day that you select, we'll be there and we'll remove the pile. What I'm saying is, if you go online, let's say today, the first available appointment might not be available till sometime next week. And that's because we have customers who are scheduling, basically every day. You could schedule over the weekend. And so you want to make sure that...
I'm sorry, is that correct right there?
That is correct,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
That is the correct website
Okay.
that people can go to. But, that's what I'm saying. If there's a storm that's, if the cone is over us and it's within 3 days of when you're looking to schedule an appointment, you go online or you call, and either service is suspended because, we aren't scheduling any more appointments, or you go online and you see that an available appointment isn't for another 7 days. That's the situation we don't want people to be in. So you definitely want to, schedule and make your appointment well in advance. We have availability up to 30 days in advance. So, you could schedule in the beginning of July to make arrangements if you need to, if you were to call in today. So you just want to make those arrangements, make sure you do it well before any storm is, going to make an impact.
And as far as your process, so somebody makes an appointment, And then does somebody go out ahead of time and look at the pile?
No, actually, the trash crew goes out on the day that it's supposed to be collected, and they'll do an assessment there. If let's say if there's an overage, if you have more than the 50 cubic yards total that you have for a year, they'll make an assessment there, and they'll leave an overage notice and explain what the next steps will be for that.
So do they take up to that? Do
Right.
they leave
Yeah. So what would happen is, so if you have two bulky waste pickups of up to 25 cubic yards each, you have over 25 cubic yards for that one pickup, they'll go ahead and use the second 25 cubic yards. If you have more than that, they'll leave an overage notice. They'll explain that you've reached your allotted amount for the year. And then we do allow for excess bulky waste pickups. For every extra cubic yard that we would come out and collect, it's $27 per cubic yard. And a cubic yard is about the size of a standard washing machine. And so you would fill out a request form to accept the charge for the extra pickup, and we would come out and pick up the remainder if that's what you choose to do.
So you brought up about a washing machine.
Yep.
What do people do with their white machines, refrigerators, stoves, things like that?
So white goods are accepted as part of a bulk waste pickup if you want to set it out on the curb, if you schedule an appointment. You could also take it to one of our trash and recycling centers. If you go to miami-dade.gov/solid waste, we have an icon for trash and recycling centers. Most of our centers accept white goods. So you're talking about refrigerators, washing machines, dryers, dishwashers, microwaves, things of that nature. You could set out for a bulky waste pickup. You could take it to a trash and recycling center. If you do put it out on the curb, we just ask that you remove the doors. Just for safety's sake, you just lean it up right against the side of your appliance there, and we'll remove it when the pickup occurs.
Let me ask our producer, Andres. Andres, did we post a story the other day about somebody that illegally dumped getting arrested? Andres? Okay.
No, actually, we did send out a release.
Yes.
Yeah, there were two cases. One gentleman, I believe, offloaded a boat on the side of the road. And another gentleman was a repeat offender. But the thing was, we had our cameras out there, and we had film.
Hidden cameras, camouflage hunters cameras,
yes,
waiting.
Game cameras, yes. And so and so we caught them in the act. We were able to use that footage, and they were subject to fines.
So when you say you caught them in the act, was that by cameras, or the policeman happened to be driving?
No, that was by cameras. We have video footage of them actively illegally dumping.
So somewhere in Miami-Dade County, you have this big TV screen with all your cameras up there. So the policemen are sitting there. Hey, Joe, go over 152nd Street. Yeah, okay, I'm there. Got him. Wave to us.
Well, I don't know if it's a live feed, but our enforcement division actively monitors the footage that is captured there, and it's really been a game changer for us. I mean, not only to close a lot of these cases, but also for promoting the message that we will catch you. I mean, the video was featured, I believe, on several news stations. We've again sent out press releases. We use those videos in social media posts. So really, it's actively showing people what we're doing in the community and the consequences for doing those
And I think
things.
that's important for everybody to know. If you do this, besides that it's wrong, and you get caught, there's some consequences to it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's very inconvenient.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, in many cases, the violator has to go out and actually pick up the material that they place at the curb. In cases where there's a repeat offender, their vehicle could be seized if it's been used repeatedly in the act of illegal dumping.
Did I read there was a fine of $2,500?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. Thousands of dollars. And again, if you're a repeat offender, I don't know why anybody would.
That means they got caught before.
Absolutely.
And they're going out and do it again.
They thought they could do it again, in our great special investigations unit.
Folks, he's smiling. He doesn't want to say what's on his mind.
Well, no, I mean that's the thing. I mean, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
And do not dump your old boats in horse country on 118th Avenue. We can't stand it.
No,
right? Absolutely
not. I mean, we're out there.
Yes.
That's all I have to say in many places.
And it is when you see trash being dumped in the same places every so often, you go, what's wrong with these people that they're doing that? They think because it's not in the public's eye, they're not going to get caught. If anything, guess what? It's more likely that somebody's watching.
Oh, right? No, absolutely. I mean, we call them hot spots. They're areas that are frequently, illegally dumped upon, and our staff are aware of those locations. Obviously, they monitor those locations not only with technology like the video cameras, but our enforcement staff patrols our service area very frequently. It's a very large service area, so they do their best. But no, we're very aware of the locations where a lot of this is happening. We're monitoring them, and obviously our investigations are bearing fruit.
So again, if somebody's a customer of Miami-Dade, they get 2 bulky waste pickups. They can go to miamidade.gov/solid waste and do it themselves, or call 311 and they'll walk you through.
Yes.
All right, and you'll be able to do that. And it's really cool that the county's really on top of that. And I understand that the days it takes the county to pick it up is now significantly reduced compared to a year ago.
Right.
It used to be 7 or 8 days, and now it's a couple of days.
Yeah. So the way it used to work is you would call in and schedule a pickup, or you wouldn't schedule an appointment, but you would say you wanted a bulky waste pickup, and then you were told to set out your pile, and we would be there between 1 and 8 days. Now, when we would show up between those 1 to 8 days, who knows? And that just invited people to add items to someone else's pile, illegal dumping. It was, it was unsightly to have piles out there for that long period of time. And so our senior staff with our director, came up with a solution to have an appointment. And now we tell people you can only set out your pile up to 3 days before your scheduled appointment. And that reduces the amount of illegal dumping, the amount of time that those piles are at the curb. You could set it out the night before. You know when we're going to be there. Just set it out the day before. We'll be there the next day and remove it. It won't be an issue. And, it seems to be, really positively impacting our service.
In the cities, there's 34 cities, I think, in Miami-Dade County. In those cities, who picks up in those cities?
Well, it really depends. We provide service in several municipalities, Opelika, Doral. We pick up in Miami Gardens and things like that. But in municipalities where they have their own garbage service, it's provided by the city. So, for example, I know the city of Miami, we get kind of confused with them a lot. City of Miami, they have a scheduled bulk pickup. So they have, certain areas are picked up on a certain day. So those customers know what day to put out their material. For us, we have 320 square miles of service area. For us to do something like that where we have a certain day for a certain area, it would just be really, untenable. So what we've done is set up this appointment system, and it's really worked very, very well for us these past 1.5 years that we've had it in service. So it works well.
And can we talk a little bit about the recycling bins
Sure.
and the green cards?
Mm-hmm.
How many customers get green cards?
So we have over 340,000 waste service customers. That number is continuously growing as we have new communities coming up all over the place. And so you're talking about 340,000 households being serviced twice a week. It's a great undertaking by our drivers. We have more recycling customers than we do garbage customers because we do have interlocal agreements with several municipalities where we only provide recycling service. So here in South Miami, that's one of our interlocal agreements. We only collect the recycling in those specific municipalities.
So the garbage trucks that pick up the green and then the blue ones, they go on that route 2 times a week for the green and every other week?
Every other week for recycling. Our recycling program is going pretty well, and we understand that a lot of our customers have a desire to recycle, and so that's why we provide additional recycling carts free of charge if they want to request them. You can call 301 to get more information about that, or go to our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste, click on recycling, and you'll find more information there.
I understand that some of the county providers for recycling are taking on new material. I understand they're now taking pizza boxes.
Yes. Yeah, pizza boxes. For a long time, we've sent out a lot of information that pizza boxes were not acceptable. They were greasy. They had a lot of food waste, a lot of saturation, and that typically leads to contamination. But with the big push of deliveries and Amazon and all these cardboard consuming companies,
it's pretty amazing.
Oh no, absolutely. They have this great desire for cardboard, even cardboard that might have some pizza grease and cheese on it. So pizza boxes are acceptable as recyclables now. If the box is falling apart, it's so saturated, we definitely don't want that. But if you're still concerned about it, you rip off the top of the pizza box that shouldn't have any grease or cheese on it. You can recycle that half and put the other half in your garbage cart. Either way, you just don't want to toss it out the car window when you're driving down the road. Just make sure you dispose of it in one of your carts.
On the green cards, the handles that go to the house.
Yes.
All right. And if somebody has a problem with their cart, the wheels are broken or it's cracked, what do they do?
No, they could call 311. They could go to miami-dade.gov /solid waste. Again, you could go to the 311 website and you could actually report that your cart is damaged. We'll come out, we'll attempt to repair the cart. And if it can't be repaired, then we'll replace it. We want to try to extend the life of the carts that are currently out there as long as possible. As long as the cart is operable, we'll leave it at the property. But if it's not able to be repaired, we'll go ahead and replace it. So
There are
service
some
can be
areas
provided.
where they try to keep the side of the roads clean. They could, if they want to form a group, they should go to their local county commissioner and say, we want to keep the street clean.
Right, absolutely. So we also have the Let's Clean Things Up program. It's a way for our department to support community groups who want to conduct a cleanup. This past Saturday, I believe Commissioner Rodriguez had a cleanup in his commission district. Our department director was there as well to assist. But basically, any community group that is organizing a cleanup, our department will come out, provide supplies. So you're talking about pick sticks, bags, gloves. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove those filled bags at the end of the cleanup as well. The one note is it has to be within our service area. We've gotten a lot of requests about people saying, oh, can you support our beach cleanup? We don't provide service on the beach. So it has to be within our service area along public roads. And we'll definitely look to see if we could support that.
So I bet the people that go out and help clean up some of the neighborhood people that are concerned, they have a new appreciation for the people that do that for a living, and then they have a new look at the people that litter and dump out the window.
Yeah, you'd be really surprised about, you look at even a roadway that might look or appear to be decently clean, cleanups conducted, and they have bags full of items. I mean, it's really surprising, but it's just our way again to help support our community members and our customers who want to do the right thing, keep their communities beautiful, and help the environment at the same time.
Sometimes there are dead animals, usually dogs and cats, that are either on the road or right in front of somebody's house. What should somebody do?
Well, they should contact Animal Services. Unfortunately, we don't deal with roadkill or animals that are deceased. The Animal Services Department does have the capability to respond to those requests. I believe if you call 311, there's also a way to report that through the 311 contact center. But definitely they should reach out to Animal Services for guidance on what the proper disposal options would be for a deceased animal. Again, please don't put it in your garbage cart. Please don't put it in your recycling cart. Take the proper steps to find out how to take care of those situations.
And let's talk about some of the things you should not put into your green cans or into the dump out front. What should they not put in?
Well, you definitely shouldn't put any gas tanks. So you're talking
Propane
about
gas tanks,
propane gas tanks,
or-
or I mean even the any sort of pressurized tank. So oxygen tanks that you might use if you're a patient, you have home health care. Even the helium tanks that they sell at the store to fill up balloons. If there's pressurized gas in anything, our trucks have compaction in the back. That could lead to a very dangerous situation. There have been situations where there's been explosions in our garbage trucks, and it's because somebody put a tank in their cart and it ended up in the back. And thankfully, those cases, the driver and other people weren't damaged, but it causes equipment damage and things like that. So you don't want to put gas tanks, paint. Please don't put paint or anything that could leak and spill all over the roadway in your cart. That causes a problem that we have to respond to, even though our trucks don't run on paint. Our trucks don't need paint to operate. It's something that is put into the waste stream by our customers. We have to go out and remedy that situation. So you don't want to put paint or anything really that can be hazardous to the environment, hazardous to staff. You really just want to make sure everything is bagged. Household garbage goes in your green cart. Approved recyclables go in your blue cart, unbagged, no bags, and you place them at your curb on your collection day, and we'll take care of it from there.
I go over again. You have 340,000 customers.
Mhm.
You have trucks all over the county,
Yep.
at least twice a week,
Mhm.
and then every other week you have the blue. Those for the green carts. Then you have blue carts.
Mhm.
They get picked up,
Yep.
and then you have on-demand the bulky waste pickup.
Yes.
You have transfer
Transfer
stations.
Yeah.
How many of those?
So we have 3 transfer stations. We have one in Northeast Miami-Dade. We have one central transfer station, which is by Jackson Memorial. And then we have the West Transfer Station, which is off Coral Way. Those are more of kind of behind the scenes. It's more for our operation to make it go more efficiently. But those are basically midway points where our drivers can offload their load, go back out on the road and finish their route without having to go, to the final destination for
So
disposal.
a Dade County customer can go to the transfer stations, take their stuff.
Well, they
put it in
can't.
there.
They can't go to the transfer stations.
Where do they go?
They could go to a trash and
Trash
recycling.
recycling.
They can go to trash and recycling
many of
centers.
those, yeah?
We have 13 of those.
Okay.
Those again are almost like mini dumps. So those bulk items that you would set out at the curb for bulky waste pickup, if you don't want to use one of your pickups, you could just take it yourself to one of our trash and recycling centers. Again, we have 13 of them. You go to our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste. We have a link there for trash and recycling centers. You can find one closest to your property.
And landscapers they buy a special permit from the county.
Right.
They pay.
Mhm.
So when we see these big trucks, they go to those local stations. They pay in advance.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they can empty their trash that's there.
Right, yeah. So we have a program where landscapers purchase visits. We used to have like physical coupons that they would hand off, but now it's all digital. But they purchase those visits. They pay for the ability to basically, they're almost like transfer stations for their business. They could go and offload the yard waste at our trash and recycling centers, but they pay for that option. Our customers, their access to the trash and recycling centers is built into their waste service fee, so they could go to trash and recycling center as many times as they want throughout the year at no additional charge.
So let's talk about if you have some construction work done at your house. Typically, if it's a really big company, they put it in the truck, and then we have faith that they're going to dump it correctly. You want to make sure that in your agreement it says they're going to dispose it right.
Right.
It's really sort of, if you will, this handyman thing where you're thinking, where's he going to put all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It's important that the homeowner has in that contract that they're going to dump it properly.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, a lot of times when you get into an agreement with a contractor, they'll have all the costs breakdown, or I would hope so. As part of that, disposal fee should be a line item there. We've come into, we've understood that sometimes contractors might want to cut corners, and instead of disposing of material properly, they may illegally dump. And so you just want to make sure that, the contractor or subcontractor that you hire knows that they're supposed to dispose of that material properly, and that they do so that they don't pocket that money for
So
that
if the
disposal fee.
maximum the homeowner can do protects them from any potential liability, they would want to put in there that it's going to be disposed of properly.
Yeah, no,
Right? And if and then you can't stop them from illegally dumping it, but the county could come back to you
Oh.
and say, that's your trash, it was generated there, all right? And you're going to have to pay because we found it down the street.
No, absolutely. I mean, our enforcement officers have come across that a number of times where some material is dumped. There's some identifying information, whether it be a receipt or a piece of mail or a shipping label on a box. They go back to the property. Property owner says, "Oh well, I was having work done on my house. This is my contractor," and they go back to the contractor, and that's what happened. But it's always good to have, that documentation. Make sure that whatever contractor you use is licensed and insured, and as part of being, a good business person, I would hope that they would have all that information written up before they start work.
As we get near the end of the show, tell people again what they should do in anticipation of the hurricane season getting in full bloom.
Yeah, so again, schedule your bulky waste pickup appointment now. Do your tree trimming now, so that you're not caught in a bind if a storm is, impacting our area or is going to impact our area. Our main function after a storm is to remove the piles from in front of our customers' households. It can take time if the entire county is impacted. It may take months to do, but we work as diligently as possible to assist our customers in the removal of that storm debris. If you live in a private road community, go to our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste. We have right of entry forms that need to be filled out so that we can go and remove that material on private roads, because FEMA has regulations related to that. But again, we just want everybody to be prepared. Make sure that your trees are trimmed well in advance of any storm making an impact, so that it's not a hazard for everybody in the community.
James Richard, Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for
Folks,
having me.
remember, go to miamidade.gov/solid waste or call 311 to get your bulky waste pickup. Folks, have a nice